Okay, we start now the second half of the training with this session number 7. So we will go back again to the core studio. As you can see, we have our item tree with a lot of elements to consider for our integration. We had some backnet. The Modbus is not so intensive in terms of data points. It was just in this space was just included our PLC items that are also in backnet because they are the same elements, data points that we have here. But we have seen a lot of Modbus signals coming from other examples, like my own house BMS. We will also take a look on that Modbus signals, but it's enough. For the examples we want to show you, it's enough to have all these data points here. So we have enough things to test and check. So the first thing I would like to comment to you today is, again, to talk about the web manager. We had some apps that we couldn't check yesterday, so today is the time to do this. I'm not talking about visualization or visualization management. This is for tomorrow, but we didn't made examples, for example, with conditional events. So it's time now to do one example about the conditional event. It's time also to deal about how to use special actions like sending a report, for example, by email. So how to do this, or even to include some push notifications in our BMS, for example, using Telegram. So this will be the main examples for this session, how to configure, for example, Telegram notifications. Telegram is a messaging system like WhatsApp or others, but it's possible to create a bot and to make it able to engage with the BMS platform. So the BMS can be sending telegrams to your Telegram app, so you can receive these notifications in your computer or in your smartphone. So it's really nice, this example. Of course, email is also more classic notification systems, but we will see that we have a lot of different possibilities. I will only show you 2 examples, emails and Telegram notifications, but you will see that the messenger module is really more sophisticated. So it's really nice to see these things. So first of all, we will create one example so you can see the difference between an alarm and a conditional event. That's really nice. So I will go to my scheduler app. I mentioned yesterday that in my opinion, the best name for this app should be event app, because it's time events, but also includes conditional events. Conditional is not related to the time, so it's just related to a condition, but it's okay. A scheduler is including this, and I will create one example of conditional events. So let me create in the test folder a conditional event example, because I want to organize this a bit better, and I will create my conditional event. Of course, we will need a condition and we will need actions to do. So you can see we can create the actions and the conditions now, but we can do also here. So conditional event. And the most interesting thing in this function, these conditional events, is that we can also manage the different flanks, the different status change. When the action is false, the condition is false, and it becomes true. What is the action? Well, this means what is the action when the condition is false and then becomes true. This is like a trigger, no, a flank. but also we can select a different action when it's again true. So in the consecutive times that this action, this condition is uh, again happening, we can do different things. So imagine one good example is, okay, I am monitoring the temperature, for example, for a room, and I want just a message when the temperature is higher than a specific level, for example, 23 degrees or whatever. Please send me a message just telling me the temperature is above a limit, and this limit is 23 degrees or whatever, but with a fixed text. It's also okay when the temperature is going back down of this level to have a message that, okay, when the action, what is the action when the condition was true but becomes false? Okay, in a Telegram message, for example, don't worry, now the temperature is okay. But what happens if the temperature is going above a limit and then it's still above a limit and then it's above a limit? I don't know if the temperature is high because normal reasons or fire, for example. So imagine that the temperature is 23, then rapidly is going 24, 27, 30, 35. In this case, it's just an example, but in this case, I can select a different action. So we will see at the end of the day how we can our own commands, X commands, and these commands maybe includes the real temperature, because I am interested not only to know that the temperature is above this limit, but also what is the temperature. So I will do this example in two parts. The first part will be now just with normal messaging, normal telegrams, telling me temperature is above 23 degrees, for example, and when the action, when the condition comes from true to false, a different message telling me that, okay, temperature is normal again, for example. But in the future, when I talk you about X commands and the logic functions and all these tools that we can handle, you will see the way how we can create our own X command, our own logic module that can be used here. And in this customized X command, I can put wherever I want the real value of this item, whatever message I would like to include, and so on. So I will show you an example, and this will be the biggest example part in order to complete this practice, this conditional event with this enriched information. So before creating my conditions and my actions, I need, of course, a channel in order to communicate by Telegram, for example. So I will show you. This is in the knowledge base, and I will not enter now the knowledge base. So my colleagues, maybe actually you can put the link about this Telegram integration, because the Telegram app or messaging system requires that you create a bot, then the bot is giving you a token, and the token is used to create a specific chat with your terminal. So for example, if you have a smartphone and you have your computer that are different chat IDs, so you need to configure one or the other if you want to send the message to your smartphone or you want to send this computer. So in this case, I will show you that we need two different strings, two different tokens and chat IDs in order to configure this. So where do we have our messaging module? We have to install it, but I have already installed it here. And as you can see, we have one of our several things that we can integrate is this. Okay, so you can see we have a lot of folders, a lot of tables, options for configuring email sending, Telegram sending, but also SMS, voice message, voice placed to a telephone, to a specific telephone number. This is a specific company that's called Twilio, and this Twilio services, it's a underpayment, but it's possible to send SMS, or it's possible to call with a voice message a specific telephone. For maintenance responsibles, it's very interesting sometimes, because normally have smartphones, but maybe some stuff can have non-smartphone terminals, so not intelligent terminals, not normal telephones. So maybe for a specific message, we need some specific voice message or SMS or whatever. It's also possible to configure tweets, and it's even possible to send information to a printer if you know the configuration. But we will focus on this email configuration and Telegram configuration. There is a messenger configuration just related to the timeouts for simple mail transfer protocols as MTP. Is not SNMP, it's a different protocol because the letters are similar. And just possible to disable the sending of message. And configuration is very simple. But let me open now, and then, well, I have it open. Telegram definitions table. So as you can see, it's only 3 columns, a profile. That's the name of our profile that we will see afterwards when we try to call this module or these functions from the web manager. The token I was mentioning you, and the chat ID, specific for the specific terminal, a specific smartphone or computer you want to send the message. Okay, so I have this configured from my own computer, so I have the table, so I only have to take it from Excel. Let me do it in a different folder. As far as I remember, I have it in the desktop. And this folder, downloads. Yes, downloads my Telegram. So I will get these 2 profiles. NETx BMS is my computer. Okay, this is the one I will use. And Julio is my telephone, my smartphone. As you can see, the token is the same. This is one thing that that one specific string that I get from the bot. The bot father is the name. It's really fun. Bot father. No Godfather, it's bot father. So this bot from Telegram gives you this token, and then you have some processes to have a first communication with your smartphone or your computer, so you get this chat ID. So when you put a specific URL, you can get this chat ID. It's explained in the knowledge base. You get the link. You have the link in the chat. So NETx BMS, for example, it's okay. Or Julio, if it's necessary. So every single person you may need to communicate, you need to use the same bot, the same token from the bot, and a specific chat ID for them. Okay. So NETx BMS is the profile. But the question is, I save this. I don't have to restart the server because, as was mentioned in some other examples, when the table is live, it's not necessary to restart. This is not affecting my item tree, so I don't have to restart and regenerate my item tree. So it's enough just to save, okay? So we can do this example now. Close this. The email will be explained afterwards also. Let me close this and then go back again to my web manager, so I can now do this example. So imagine that we have the name is temperature message, for example. And we are going to survey the temperature for the room 0101. Okay, what is the condition? Okay, we have to select, but of course we don't have this condition. Maybe yes, We have this condition. We did it yesterday. So if you have a condition already created, you can use it. It's there. If you want to use this condition, if you want to do or to use a different condition, okay, let's do it. Let's create a condition, but we have already this condition. So I just have to select it. Why not? It's okay. And then the actions. If the condition was false and becomes true, so the first time it happens, I will select, well, first create, and of course need to be created because we didn't create this action yesterday. So I will create an action, Telegram info temperature room higher than limit. And then important, what is the X command? So here in the X command library, you can see it's my own customized X commands, but there are some specific X commands that are already by default installed when you install the BMS platform, and one is send Telegram. Send Telegram message. And with this app, it's going to be asked the profile from the module. And as you can see, we have two different profiles. Who do you want, or which terminal you want to send the information? To my computer. It's this one, I know. And what is the message? And this is the first approach for the practice. This message is a string, so it has to be a fixed text. This is a limitation for me because I cannot tell the system what is the temperature now. Can tell the temperature is above the limit. So I just have the option text. If this happens, and know the real temperature. I cannot tell the current temperature is whatever. But in the second part of the practice, when we know how to create our own X commands, because these X commands can be customized, as you will see, then I will be able to put whatever text I would like. So this is interesting to start doing basic things and then doing more complex things. We can apply a delay if you want, so it's also possible, but let's do this. And then what happens if the temperature is, if the condition was true and then becomes false? I mean, when the temperature is back below this limit in the establishing the condition. Okay, let's create another action. But the question is that we can copy paste because maybe it's faster. Edit, no? This. Text. Same. I say that the temperature is okay. I just save and I select. So copy pasting is always a good trick. You can also have a time program for this conditional event. This is only considered from 9 to 5 or from Monday to Friday or whatever. Okay, but I will know, or holidays or when it's not holiday or whatever. This message is configured, so it should work, but I don't really know what is the temperature, so maybe I have to interfere with the temperature in alias that is or 20. Okay, so it's 20 now, but maybe we can force this value. Let me also show you my Telegram desktop app. Okay. So I will do it like this. And there it is. Now I wrote 20.4 and the condition was higher than 20.3, so you have this message. If it's growing, we get no new message because it's not a new condition. I don't know if the temperature is going higher and higher because I did not configure that in my okay. It was down again because it comes from the real. Now it's 20.1, so I didn't need to force it because from the thermostat it becomes the new temperature. But as you have seen, I only get when the condition is met and when the condition is not met, but not when the condition is met again and again and again and again, because in the configuration, this is not configured because I want to do this with a different action. That is the really nice and most interesting part of this event. In my opinion, this is one of the most interesting tools in the BMS platform at all for an integrator, because if this then do that, configurations are always necessary. The condition, I repeat, it was created, okay, but the conditions, remember, that can be complex conditions. It could be a combination of different things that happens, all of them, none of them, some of them, or the negative of some of them. So it's really sophisticated. This really is. And also, I didn't mention, but the actions could be also multiple. So it's not necessary only to send a telegram. You can also turn on a fan, send an email to a different person or wherever, because you can select whatever amount, I don't know what is the limit, but several amount of things to do when this action is triggered. So it's really nice because it's really complex. Sometimes you may think on logics and some complex things, very simple to do whatever thing using this conditional event. So the web manager is more and more used by the integrators, by our customers, because it's solving you a lot of circumstances, and you don't have to think so complex scripts. Many of us are not good writing scripting. I'm included in this big bag. Integrators that scripting is a bit of confusing because you always lose a comma or a bracket or wherever, and the scripting is not working fine. But this is really interesting. Okay, so this example will be finished afterwards, maybe at the end of the second or even the third session of. Now we have to deal about the reporting and send a report by email at a specific time. So we will combine three things. The email messenger action that includes report sending and a calendar to do this at a specific time. So this example, typical example, so send to somebody this report about the DALI or whatever every day, including the information from yesterday. So this is something I mentioned yesterday, but we will do it today. For this, I have to include in my BMS this email service. So I will appreciate if my colleagues can, if we have it in the knowledge base, I think so, about the email integration. There are some examples to use Google Gmail SMTP, because I will use my personal SMTP. So I will import it, but not show you this. I will post my show. it's my password, all these things included in my file. So I will take it from Excel. I promise that I'm doing this, taking from Excel this configuration about my email configuration. I am importing this file. It's just one configuration just to use the, okay. It's just necessary because the BMS needs to use a SMTP service. So you need to use a specific server with a specific port with or without security. And so this configuration is explained also for Gmail in the knowledge base. Thanks, Akshay, because you have it now in your computer, in your chat, for example, how to integrate this in your BMS. I will not use the classical Gmail integration. I think also because there is the explanation integrated from Gmail is not good. The port they are using are different, and so you have sometimes to ask what is the real port to use. So now I have my email integration done. It's here in the BMS. It's already included, as you can see, but I will not show you all the data. But the profile is Julio. Okay, the channel I use to send emails. Okay, so I just save it, close, and I have now a channel to send emails. So let's go. Let's do it. Let me start again the BMS Studio, and then go to the Web Manager. So to remember something we did yesterday, we talked briefly about reporting. So we create one report instance, report about DALI home daily report. We can take a look. DALI home daily report. It was from today, but maybe we would need the report from yesterday, for example. I'm just generating the report. It takes time because it has been storing information from many time. Okay. So I think I have it here. Yes. Open it and show it to you. How many pages we have? 195 pages for the report of the DALI because it has been a lot of checks and so on. So 185 pages for this report. So it takes time to get it. So let's see. Let's send this report to somebody by email. How to do this? At a specific time, I mean. So you can program this. Okay, every day at 9:37 or wherever I will take in account the time, I will send this report. So first step is to create this report instance because we need to call it from the action. You will see. But what we really need, is to create an event to do this. So in this case, I will create a folder here to events for time events and for conditional events. So let me create another folder inside that is called time events, time. And here, for example, we can just create one time event, not a start a stop like yesterday. The last thing I did yesterday was to turn on and off the lights with a start a stop time event. You saw this, a one time event. The name is report sending DALI daily report sending. More than a name is a description, but it's okay. The time I will change later on. color, you can change the color about this. Let me put it like yellow. It would be nice. And then the action. The action is important. What is the action to do to send a report? Action. Report sending for this DALI. And then now it's very important. What is the X command? So again, we have all our catalog of X commands, but as you can see here, we have about reporting different things. We can save a report to a specific folder, or even we can send a report to someone. Send report is by email. So as you can see, it's specifically asking for a messenger profile email. So as I have configured on that table the profile to send, this is the channel. Julio is just the channel. It's not the destination of the email. It's just the channel. I call Julio. I could call it Julio's email or SMTP zappings or whatever. Okay, of course, the report instance to send or to use is my report instance. So it's here, this one with the NETx logo. I select this. This is the report instance and the email address I will send to myself. A subject, DALI report today, not yesterday, today. And if you want, it's optional, a body. Hello. Let's find attached today's DALI report from your home. Okay. It could be also Telegram telling me you are receiving a DALI report. It's also possible. Maybe we can include here a Telegram to say check email. So it's Messenger. Sorry. Send Telegram message to NETx BMS. And the message is please check your inbox DALI report sent. So that's good. You can do whatever you want. Okay. Now this is just the action. And now we need to specify when we want to do this. So let's say at 9:40, 30 seconds to check. So I will open my email Outlook. Okay. Now it's open, but it's not in the window. And I have received email. Let me check. But of course, we get a Telegram message. Please check your inbox. So it's working fine. And then I will check if I received the email with the report. Not yet, but it should come. What I can check if the some issue with the reporting instance. Okay, maybe there is some issue because it was not sent. Email sent, message, no, Telegram. But plugin messenger, the Telegram was sent, yes. About reporting, file path for reporting instance is empty. But the execution of report was successful. Okay. Let me check if I get the email. Not yet. Okay, I will check. But should arise because I am always receiving emails from my BMS at home when a backup server is not connected or whatever. So this is work. Okay, but it's a little bit strange. Okay, let me check the report. 1309. Yes, this is the instance. Mhm. Okay. Okay, I will include a save report. That's what I am thinking now. Let me check. I will change the name of so it's order. I will include a save report to a folder. Because I also want to test. Select a folder. Desktop. This folder. I'm including also the saving of the report. And I will put a delay of 5 seconds here. I'm to do it afterwards, not all together. So, and then the time should be different. Okay. This is the one-time event. I'm 45. And we should get an email with this. Let's check. But what is good is that the BMS is telling you what is happening. This is also very important because in the system message, we need to know what is happening. Okay. We get this message again. It is no issue. I'm not getting the email, but let me check if in this folder we have. Yes, we have it. In the folder, the report is created. So that's the good thing. It was created at 9:45:00 seconds and 86 milliseconds. It takes a few milliseconds to create it. 201 pages now. So maybe the problem is that it's something is happening about the email sending, but I don't know why I cannot get this message. It's strange because the BMS is not telling me. Okay, we'll we'll take a look on that. Maybe what I can do is to test if the email is working or not. Add another action here that is just sending an email telling me whatever. So check. It's just a notification, a messenger email. And I can include an attachment. Yep, but I will not. Okay, just to test if it's working fine. Let me check. Yes, I wrote my email properly. Yes. Okay. What happened? Ah, nothing here. Okay. Mm-hmm. Not working again. Final try. No, it's okay. Okay, and try to do this at 9:49 and 20 seconds. So let's see. This is working. And now the email arrived. Well, I will show you. The email was working fine. So this is not a problem about these messenger systems. Maybe it's about the report instance or whatever. I can maybe try to select a different report instance. That's also possible. My last try. So because normally it shouldn't work. No, something is, again, this file path empty. Well, something is necessary to check. Okay, well, 90% success. Something that was not working, but it's okay. We need to check this report sending. Maybe it's some concern about the report generation, whatever. Okay, no problem. So To this web manager explanation, before we see the visualization management tomorrow, we have the diagnosis. This is also very interesting because, and you will see this when we deal about the cloud portal, the diagnosis allow us to see what is happening with our item tree, so we can access to our item tree, even accessing remotely. It doesn't have to be open from the same computer. Now I am doing from the same computer. It's localhost. The IP address is the localhost, but it could be also from remote computers. So you can see what is happening with your aliases, for example, and you can take a look on the information you may have. Also, write values. Okay, you can also force the value on, and I am turning on and off the lights, for example. Or you can see also all the properties. So it's perfect because you are in connection with your computers, with your server. Okay, but this is not the only thing you can see here. You can see also what is happening with your gateways. A very fast view about everything is going fine, about devices, but my Salto server is not connected, or my Beacon server, or whatever. Okay, so that's interesting also. And you have the log for the core server log, so you see the same log that we saw before. Okay, these logs, every time we restart the server, the previous log is stored, and the new log is starting to get all this information. So it's very interesting also to understand where are being storage. Okay, and the web manager logs also. So this remotely can be checked and also can be downloaded. You can export the data to Excel, and you can see all your gateways and all your item tree remotely with all the properties and so on. Really nice. This diagnosis app is very helpful. About the workspace, so everything that we are doing here, okay, in our core server, in our 2024-0521 underscore training workspace, this is the name of my workspace, is being stored in a specific folder. So I will show you. Default folder is, let me show you only in your computer, unit C. One second. Here it is. Okay. Program files, NETx automation. So this is the folder I want to show you. Okay. This is the folder. C, program files. It's in Spanish, but NETx automation. BMS platform, because the rest of the things are from previous version. Don't take a look on this. It's just BMS platform. Okay, inside this. And we have my core. This is what we have seen. Okay, about the web manager, also about the visualization and the extension manager with all the apps. But if you want to see the space itself, it's in core. You should normally don't touch these folders, okay? But just for you to understand that we have the workspaces here. Maybe also you can have a backup of your workspaces, and all your workspaces are specific folders. So if I go to my training today, all these folders, configuration files, data files, events, log I was mentioning you, log files, and you get a lot of information from your system from the very beginning of your configuration. The time you created the server, a log. So, for example, you can see here the date, the year, month, and day. So at 10:24, whatever, it was the same time, the first time I restarted the server. So this was the very first log file we created for this BMS platform. So you can see everything that happened in this moment. Okay, it's here. So for diagnosis, if you have any issues in your computer or whatever, it's interesting to have all this information. The most recent one is this, the one without the date and time, without timestamp. This is the last one, the current one. So we have all these things here. With all the issues we should have, all the messages. Sometimes are just informative, sometimes are errors. For example, you remember this error? It was in red color in my message report, file path for report is empty. This is an error. It could be also warnings, info, or errors. Okay, so this is really interesting, but normally we use user windows, the system message windows in the Core Studio. We don't have to come here to take a look on these files and so on. So just log files, but also you can see the data files, for example, my KNX configuration, my gateway definitions are also files. These tables we normally configure in Excel, it's also possible to touch here, but we recommend do not touch these files because it's just a way to break the project. So all these data definitions are in folders. It's really powerful because it's very light to configure many things. The configuration files is also here. So your BACnet driver, for example, all these things in BACnet is also possible to configure in these files, but we recommend to use of course, to do this. But everything related to this workspace is in these folders, and also the script files. This is something I will explain later about the scripting, but by default, these scripting files, okay, by default, one is the most important, the definitions. These definitions files is the main one, okay, and the rest of the files are subordinated to these main definitions files. I will explain later in a few time, but this is the aim of that files. This means that if you do bad things with your scripts, it's not a problem, because in any new project you will have these clean scripting files, copy paste, and that's all. So don't worry about these things. And if you want to do a copy of your project, you can copy this folder, of course, but what we recommend, you can copy paste the folder itself. But what we recommend is not to do this, is to just export. It's what I did normally in order to give you the workspace. The first day I configure all the drivers, I just export it and put it in the Dropbox folder that it will be shared with you with the video. So everything will be in your just export. And also very important, if you have some issues in your project, my colleagues will ask you to generate the support file. This is also very important for us. Support file helps to analyze what can be happen with our project, with our workspace. So it's also important for you to understand that we may need to get this workspace support file. Okay. So to finalize this will now talk about main backup configuration. That is, I think, a good moment to do this. We have about 15 minutes, so it's enough to talk about the main backup configuration. But first, I will remember you that we are using a standalone in this example, okay, standalone server, and we can recognize if it's a standalone server in different parts. First, here in the bottom, you can see in this status bar that is the started time, the server is online with this workspace, and this is a standalone server that is active, database or whatever. A standalone means this is a single BMS connected to my systems, not with a redundant server connected. In several projects, in big projects, the security is a must. It's totally important. It's of the utmost importance. So we need to ensure that our server will work 100% of the time, or let's say 99.99% of the time. If something happens with the server, we will have a redundant server that is called the backup server to take hand over all the tasks, all the communication, and so on. So of main backup is really simple. We don't have to do really complex things. We have a standalone server because you can see we are online, we're active, but we are not defined as a main server, not defined as a backup server. So of course we don't have a redundant server connected. How to, if we have a second computer, second server with a second license, and we want to make them redundant, is really simple. We just need to go to modules, core, okay, and you can see here main backup configuration. Okay, so it's really simple. We just have to active main backup here. I will not do it because I will show you in the BMS main backup I have at home, and just put the IP of the main and the IP address of the backup. Just this in both servers, restart both, and it will work as redundant servers. 30 seconds, no more than 30 seconds takes. Really simple, really simple. But the system is automatically synchronizing all the data points by default. All the data points are synchronized, so the item trees are identical if you have the same workspace. Of course, you have to export the workspace in the server you are working with and import it in main servers. In the case of my home, I can show you, I have my main server. I have shown you several times. Let me show you in big screen. This is my main server, okay? My home's main server. And as you can see here, we have a server that is online, not in simulation, and also that is active. Well, makes sense. But in this case, this is the main server. Yes, it's not the backup server. And there is a redundant server connected. You can see this here. What is the redundant server? My backup server. I have another server, another computer, that is my backup server, Sapiens backup. Okay, this is a different. So as you can see here, it's online, it's not in simulation, but this item, this is the first time we can see this, is false. It means that it's in standby mode. Because this is not defined as a main server, but as a backup server. And there is a redundant server connected that is the main. So they can surveil one to the other. In fact, I am taking this item, and when these values in both servers becomes false, I send an email, and you will see, because I will receive these emails in my computer. So I have both servers, and the configuration is really simple. I will come back to the main server to show you first the main server. This is the main server. Okay. If I show you modules core main backup configuration, it's active, and I have the IP of the main, that is this one, the IP of the backup, the rest of the things by default. And if I show you the other server, it's just modules core main backup configuration, exactly the same. 30 seconds, no more. So they are working synchronized. So how to demonstrate this? Okay, this is the backup, okay? But as you can see, it's, in terms of KNX, it's offline, there's a Modo as well. It seems to be online, but it's not working, it's not managing traffic. This was because some tests I did before. I will just delete this and I will show you. Let me turn off. Let's do this with both at the same time in the same screen. Let me turn off this, stop this server, the main server. So imagine that there is some issue with the main server, and what will happen is automatically the backup server takes the control. So what is happening now? That my active now becomes true, and the redundant server is not connected. So if I take a look on my emails, I should receive information about. Okay, let me check. I will show you. Main server disconnected, check main server. This is a message that I have configured already some time ago, and I get this by email. So as a push notification in my smartphone, because I put this BMS Novaling. Novaling is the town I live, my house. I receive it as a push notification. It's very simple, and now it is handling the information. If what happens if the main server starts again, let's check it. If the main server starts again, then the main server will take hand of all the tasks, and you will see. I will force the starting. How the backup server is back. Okay, happy that I have a backup server because it's not working now, but it will restart again and then take the control again. Some seconds to do, but the backup is working. It's not a problem. Here, the only thing to talk about is about the database. Well, each of these servers have their own database now. If you want to have a unique database, you need to consider or the first, or the second, or a third server to write all of them on that database. It's possible to configure where is the database to write data on. Maybe you want to use the main server database instance to write the data, even if the backup is active. So you have to do it in the configuration. You can put whatever IP in the database configuration. So if it's not local, it can be the other. So now, as you can see, deactivating, whatever, disconnected, and now it's the main server that is connected again. So now is my main server again taking over the control, and I will get for sure, and I will get, well, I am getting some Telegram message. Yes. Now the redundant server is disconnected. The main server is connected. Let me start the redundant server. So both are connected again. And I am getting emails. The redundant server is disconnected. Check the backup server. And when all of them are connected again, I will get a message, email and Telegram that everything is working fine again. So here in server branch, the redundant server is not connected, but now it's connected again. So I get a message that redundant server is reconnected again. So I am surveilling, I am taking in account everything that happens. So now I get an email, backup server got again, all okay, but check please main and backup server. So this is an email that I created myself to check my servers. Okay, so main backup is really simple, really simple. And you need two servers, two license, but remember, I mentioned yesterday, the backup server cost of the license is 50% of the license. So it's 1.5 of the cost of a standalone server, but you have several times more reliability in your backup license. So in specific projects, it makes sense to offer your customer. I would use redundancy in this project because it helps us to have 100% of the time synchronize the server and without losing any milliseconds of data. Okay, so it's really interesting, main backup configuration, and really simple. Okay, so now, and to finish this session, well, maybe I will do it afterwards, but we can easily improve some of our alarms that we did yesterday. If you remember, yesterday we configured alarms, but without any action. So in our alarms, it was just the alarm condition and nothing more. I told you the actions are optional. So I will again take over this alarm lights, and we have done it by room and by light. We just have alarm, okay, and the alarm definition and the constituent, but there was not any action on this alarm. So what I'm going to do to finalize this this session is to improve this, but in the template, because we created a template, if you remember, without actions. I can do it now. Actions. Telegram on, and you know that we can select a message, X command, messenger, Telegram message, my profile, and light, whatever, room, whatever, floor and room is on. This is the message. Copy and on vanish. I cannot copy paste here because it has to be done all together, but it's very simple. Messenger, send Telegram, profile. Let's do like this to have a bigger text so you can distinguish. Okay. This is the template modification. Okay. So what I have to do is come back go to alarms, configuration, and modify or apply the template again. You remember we had a file. Hopefully I haven't deleted. Yeah, alarm for light status. We have this file and we can re-import again, but it will be not new alarms, it will be modify alarms. It will be new actions, 96 new actions, but it will be a modified alarm. The folders will remain same because I haven't changed it. There's 96 new added actions, 48 alarms and conditions updated. That's it. So I have my new alarms, but including the actions per light, per floor. So let's check if it's working, because now it's very easy. And I will do it here, for example, just with broadcast on of all the lights to finish this session. And there it is. A lot of lights left, at room, right, bath, left, right, bed, ceiling. And if I turn off, it's here. All this message. So it takes not so many time to improve the alarms. It's hundreds, thousands of alarms with just the template. We just modify the template and apply the template again, including the actions we didn't include yesterday. So it's fantastic. This was the last thing I wanted to show you. Apologize for the report that it couldn't be sent with the report sent, but we will check it. Okay. And the next session, I will start with dealing about logics and very important things. Logics with scripting, and also X commands will take most of next 2 sessions, because it's important to stop and explain all these modules in depth. So I hope you will enjoy also. Thank you very much, and see you in 40 minutes again. Bye.